Good evening, everyone. I am Amelia Lalremdiki Sailo, the Ehsaas Woman of Aizawl, and it's a great honor to welcome you all to the Right Circle again, organized by the Prabha Khatnan Foundation. Today's event is organized with the generous support of Oil India Ltd and in association with our hospitality partner, Folkland. This evening, we are joined by the highly esteemed Mr. Rasheed Kidwai, a name that resonates with many of us, known for his journalistic integrity and keen observance of politics and governance. A very warm welcome to you, sir. Before we commence, I would like to say a few words about our foundation. Prabha Kaitan Foundation is dedicated to fostering the performing arts, culture, education, literature, gender equality, and women's empowerment. Through a wide array of initiatives, including author interactions, book launches, literary festivals for both established and emerging writers, panel discussions, boutique festivals, and compelling performances by singers, dancers, and theatre artists, the Foundation continues to celebrate and promote creativity and meaningful expression. Though its varied initiatives, authors, and artists are provided with platforms to connect with their audiences, encouraging engagement, dialogue, and a deeper appreciation of the arts. Now allow me to introduce you all to today's guest for the evening. Mr. Rasheed Kidwai is a distinguished journalist, author, columnist, and political analyst, widely respected for his incisive commentary and deep understanding of contemporary political discourse. He is currently a visiting fellow at the Observer Research Foundation. A former associate editor of The Telegraph, Mr. Kidwai brings with him decades of journalistic experience. An alumnus of St. Stephen's College, New Delhi, he also holds a master's degree in mass communication from the University of Leicester in the United Kingdom. In addition to his writing, he is a familiar and authoritative voice on television, contributing regularly to leading news platforms such as CNN News 18, ABP News, NDTV, Air India Ahead, and India Today TV. I would also like to share a few words regarding our conversationalist who will be steering forward today's dialogue. Professor Shashwati Goswami is the Regional Director of Northeastern Regional Campus of the Indian Institute of Mass Communication, Aizawl. Before joining IIMC, she was a journalist for 14 years being associated with varied media organizations. As an academic, she has received fellowships from various international research and academic institutions. She is a well-published scholar, having more than 15 research articles in peer-reviewed journals and 2 published books to her credit. We are blessed to have you as our host this evening. So when I first heard about our guest today, she was the first person that came to mind to do this conversation, and I'm so happy that she's agreed to do this. So without further ado, I give the floor to both of you.
Already the introduction is done. I read through the book. I have been reading him for a long time. How I will go, let me sit because it looks like a teacher talking. How we will go is, though it's about the book, but not about the book as well. Not going thoroughly into
that's correct.
But it's a very interesting piece of work in a sense that there is journalism, there is politics, which are connected, and you know how right now. And how do you navigate that space of journalism and politics coming together, how you create that ambience and you understand that journalism is so political. So with his rich way, and his way of writing is very different. It's not exactly journalism, but so much something that we can do. Most of the journalism schools, a lot of you are there, we don't teach it. So this is something I really liked. In fact, I finished completely today because you need that time, you know? And so I would just, because most of them have, not today, some might have. So I'd like to start with your introduction to the book, the story then. So how did you come to this topic because this is a very interesting case but not much known. But at the same time, you connected the politics of that time. So I would like you to detail it a little bit.
Thank you. First of all, I would want to thank my host, the Women of Ehsaas Women chapter, Prabha Foundation, and of course Professor Shashwati Goswami, and all of you for finding time in this whether on a Saturday evening to come and grace this occasion. So a big thank you to citizens of Aizawl, and it's my good fortune, and I join my wife is here, Dr. Kidwai. Both of us, we feel very warm and very welcome. So on this note, now I will have a conversation, and my request to you would be to make it as a sort of interactive, and there are a lot of young people are there. So at some point they may ask some question or something they want to ask. So friends, here I have brought a book. It's called The Scam That Shook a Nation, the Nagarwala Affair. A lot of people think, particularly the youngsters would think that a lot of fraud and scams are happening today because of technology. You have OTP, you have mobile, you have phone banking, you have internet banking. A lot of wrong things happen, particularly in financial sphere. But in 1971, a big, sort of corruption happened that somebody mimicked Indira Gandhi, who was the Prime Minister, Indira Gandhi's voice, and called up, the bank manager of State Bank of India, New Delhi branch, asking 60 lakh rupees. And it was very dramatic. So the opening sentence, that person said that Pradhan Mantri baat karenge, Indira Gandhi will talk. And some woman's voice came to the SBI manager, Mr. Malhotra, and she said, we need urgent funds for Bangladesh. At that time, the Indo-Pakistan war was about to take place. There was a lot of tension in so to say, in East Pakistan, what is known as Bangladesh. And 60 lakh rupees, friends, were at today's thing, if you calculate, it was 171 crore rupees, a big amount. And she said, person who was mimicking the voice said, you just say Bangladesh ka babu. There will be a code word. And some of you have been in Delhi at the Parliament Street, there is a very famous church called Freemason Church. So he said, you go to Freemason Church and there will be a person. And that bank manager, reliably, he collected 60 lakh rupees, put in a huge steel trunk, put it in his car and gave to that Freemason Church and handed over that money. And that man ran away. And it was a huge scandal at that point of time. Somebody said it was Indira Gandhi's son, Sanjay Gandhi, who was taken this money. Some said it was a CIA operation. We as Indians, we are very good at conspiracy theories. All kind of conspiracy theories were done. But what happened, that man, Mr. Nagarwala, who was a former Navy captain, he was an army captain. He was arrested and he was put in jail, and he died in custody. So there was more greater mystery. There was commission of inquiry. Senior people who are sitting here, they know what is the fate of commission of inquiries in India. Nothing comes out. But two prime ministers, that being Indira Gandhi and Morarji Desai, they came before the commission and they deposed before it. Nothing came out. So this is the story of that Nagarwala affair, as we call it, and it was a scam that had shaken the nation. Thank you.
Something very interesting I found out is this, he was caught very fast actually. Looking at, we know the efficiency of Indian system, and he was caught very fast. That 30,000 rupees was missing and never came to conclusion what happened. So you scanned through so many documents, commissions and everything that happened, that took place. Where are the gaps that you found out? The gaps that you have mentioned in the book, I want you to.
So, I think this is a very interesting question. And friends, because many of you are from media and journalism background also, see, it is very tempting for a journalist to reach to a conclusion. Like we do it in today's world in WhatsApp. When we read something or we hear something, we believe it. Actually, anybody who wants to be, a journalist or researcher or any kind of serious study, you need to be very actually skeptical. You need to be agnostic about it, in the sense that did it actually happen? And that is something actually that makes a good journalist, a good researcher, a good, I would say, human being also. So when we were writing, I actually have written this book in collaboration with a friend of mine, Mr. Prakash Patra, who's also from Indian Institute of Mass Communication. And we actually got this, there was a Justice Jagan Mohan Reddy Commission. So we got that entire report and we went through, page by page, and there were a lot of annexures, report, police case diary. Some of you know how police function. So we cross-checked everything, and there were a lot of holes were there. She very rightly points out that the case was solved in 3 days. Can you imagine in the Indian state a case getting solved in 3 days? But friends, again, I mean, I'm not that old, but I have an idea. Till about 1960s or 70s, actually a lot of cases were getting solved. The number of cases, criminal cases that were solved was about 64%. Today, not even 18% cases are solved. And rate of conviction is, that is I'm saying rate of conviction is very poor. So what it was in 1960s is actually should have gone up. We should have had 100%, 80%, 90% rate of conviction. Today, the rate of conviction is about 16%. I don't want to talk about politics, but if you look at ED's record, it is 3%. So it's actually, so this book had a lot of such challenges, but we tried to remain very neutral. As I said, it was very easy to blame Indira Gandhi, Sanjay Gandhi, because the Commission of Inquiry said that they gave a kind of clean sheet, and this Commission of Inquiry was appointed by Morarji Desai, who was a political opponent of Indira Gandhi. But that Commission of Inquiry gave clean sheet to Indira Gandhi, and they gave benefit of doubt to Sanjay Gandhi. So some people wanted to make the film about this, and the filmmakers met us and said, "Ye to, isme maza nahi aaya." I said, "You have not blamed anybody." Said, "We need to, in a film, we need to put a blame." So I said, "Look, we are accountable to our own conscience." See, as I said, it's very easy to say that Indira Gandhi didn't do anything or Indira Gandhi did. But since there is a grey area, so we have presented it to the readers to decide. If you read a book, you can draw your own conclusion. There was a botched up operation. There was, as I said, the person, the accused person, the convicted person, Nagarwala, he died. Rustam Sorab Nagarwala was his full name. There was a police officer, he also died. So there's a lot of mystery. But yeah, you read that Kashyap. Now, Mr. Kashyap's death, actually, it sounds very suspicious. Since many of you have not read a book, just allow me to say that how he died. So he had got married and he went to Agra. I don't know, some of you have been to Agra to see Taj Mahal, and there's a famous fort. So he was going in a car, and from the wrong side, as it happens in India. It doesn't happen as well when it happens in the rest of India. Or others from the wrong side, a wedding procession, a barat was coming, and the horse went berserk. So the horse actually came and came before the car. And what happened? It was not a horse, actually, it was a tonga. Many of you would not know, but that was a mode of transport. Tanga, tonga, whatever. So actually there was a collision and the car actually toppled, and Mr. Kashyap died. So to say that this was a sort of engineered accident, we have a police officer here. It was to us, it looked little far-fetched. And you can't plan a wedding procession and a act of horse by the act of God to result in the death of a. It was a freak incident. So that's why I'm saying there are a lot of gaps and holes were there that we have accounted for.
Two very important characters throughout. Two very important characters throughout, you have mentioned already, Indira Gandhi and Sanjay Gandhi. You have this chapter how Indira Gandhi, her demeanor basically, how she just brushed off everything. I really want people to understand, because the political context also, you were talking about emergency and everything coming down together. Just can you just tell them about those, the way she, what was your take on the way she handled it, and the way Sanjay Gandhi was ultimately given benefit of doubt, because it's a big conspiracy actually. It's really like a basket case. And when I read through it, I had this feeling that it would have never been solved. There is no way it can be solved.
So the incident happened in May, and that time actually, and again, as a journalist, these things you put two and two things together. So what happened that day? It happened, it was a Monday morning, and the call came at around 11:45 a.m. To the bank manager. Now that day was the opening day of Parliament, and Indira Gandhi, since she had won and she had sworn the Council of Ministers, so she was in the house. And all her opponents like Morarji Desai and others were also, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, Chandrasekhar, they were also in the house. So she was introducing, her Council of Ministers. And so that actually, as a journalist, we felt that since she was in Parliament House, and when in Parliament, when the Council of Ministers is introduced, then the Prime Minister has to be there. So there was no way that she could have gone out and made a call and come back. So these are the things that you think as a journalist. Suppose a non-journalist had written this book, they may not have thought of all these, sequences. The fact that at that point of time she was there. And that was also a time when this Malhotra, as a bank manager, so in every bank there is a due diligence. You can't take 60 lakh rupees of the, shelf and give it to somebody. So he made a mistake, then he went to Indira Gandhi's house and there was no security. So when he went to Indira Gandhi's house to get a kind of receipt, he was told that Indira Gandhi is in Parliament. Then he felt that there's something wrong. So he went to Parliament also. There was no security either in Indira Gandhi's house or in Parliament. So he went to Parliament. He met that person, that very famous man, P.N. Haksar, who was supposedly had called, like, Indira Gandhi wants to talk to you, to the bank manager. So he met Haksar, and Haksar said, "Are you mad? I am here, and I have not made any call." Then he realized that there was something wrong. So he rushed back and filed a police. When Indira Gandhi came to know, Indira Gandhi immediately asked the police to file a case. And the police, in their enthusiasm, I don't know what is the situation in Mizoram. You see, the police, when they know that government or a prime minister or a chief minister is interested, they try to solve case very fast, regardless of facts and interrogation, etc. So that was also a big folly. A lot. Actually, the police could not even establish that Mr. Rustam Sohrab Nagarwala was capable of mimicking voice or not. So many times that tape recorder was brought in and he was asked to mimic. He knew, but then they said that he had also had a stroke. So therefore he could not mimic. So there were all kind of theories were there. So nothing was resolved. I would urge my friends to have a look at that book and read it, because it's, as I said, it was very easy and tempting to reach to a conclusion. But when we realize that things that are unresolved, case which is from 1971 till 2025-26 remain unresolved, then let people decide. It's actually commentary on our political system.
The funny part is that he dyed his hair, Nagarwal. He dyed his hair, he trimmed his beard, and he roamed around. And one thing when I was reading, he looked very defocused.
Yeah.
Like he got his 60 lakhs, think of it, at that time. Then he's getting down from one car and going into another car, then he's deciding to go somewhere, then he parks his money somewhere, and then he goes somewhere. It is as if he was waiting for the police to come, almost. Like, the first thing I would do, of course, I'll need 500 crores to if I get 500 crores, first thing I'll do is I'll leave this country, right? You were heisting such a big amount of money and you were roaming around in Delhi only, somewhere or I wanted you to, because you have done extensively on Nagarwala's character, just give them a glimpse of Nagarwala's character. The gap that comes out.
Yeah, so we've done the entire profile of Nagarwala. Nagarwala was a very interesting character, a very well-traveled person, and he knew he could talk to different people at different time. There are some people who size up to people. So he was that way. He was a great. Normally, the people who are from Fauj, from army, they are very disciplined. They are very reserved. They are very aloof. Here, this person was very hands-on person, and but he had a grudge. He had a medical problem, and he did not get what is known as disability pension. So in army, in armed forces, people get disability pension. So he had a grudge. So there was one of the things was that he had a grudge and he wanted to do this. He wanted to teach the Indian system some kind of lesson. Those who believe that this was like Sanjay Gandhi's, plot or get money, so he actually wanted to park money to Sanjay Gandhi or Sanjay Gandhi's person. But what happened? There was a lot of panic in between, and as I say, in Delhi, right hand doesn't know the left hand in terms of functioning. So somebody filed a police case, and because of police case, so the IB or RAW, RAW, whatever operation it was washed up. Then they tried to make him a scapegoat, and that is why he was killed. But again, this is a theory. This is not something that is based on evidence, and therefore, friends, again I said to all the inquiring minds, it is actually, if something has remained inconclusive, then we must admit that it remained inconclusive. We should not jump it. And that's actually not only the test of patience, but this is what scholarship is all about.
I just wanted another view on the judicial process and procedure. You have already talked about it, but at a go, how to the trial and recordings, confession recordings. It's a very interesting story actually. That's what I.
Thank you. Yeah, so I think the police has so what they do is they force people to make a confession, and they record it and they go to the magistrate, and the magistrate was also in great hurry. So normally, the principle of natural justice is that the person who's accused should have a right to defend himself herself, and if he or she, then the state should provide a lawyer. In Nagarwala's case, nothing was done. So, and some people in the police, this is there in all those case diary, etc. The police told him that you just confess and then you will go scot-free. So, as she was drawing that pen picture of Mr. Nagarwala, that he was very carefree, careless, and he thought that he will go scot-free. He actually wrote a lot of letters, 3-4 letters to Indira Gandhi, and Indira Gandhi also had responded. So later on, this matter also came with for the commission, that how come Indira Gandhi knew him. So at that time, again, since I have seen the glimpses of Indira Gandhi at her time, that time the Prime Minister used to respond to each and every letter that would go to her. And some, of course, she had a secretarial staff, but sometimes it was mentioned that so and so is written, this letter, this is a point. So Indira Gandhi would say, no, answer this. That was a different world. Some of my relatives still have letters from Indira Gandhi. That they wrote a letter to Indira Gandhi and Indira Gandhi responded. And it was not Indira Gandhi was writing, but Indira Gandhi had an interest. So she would sit down in a day and respond to some 20-30 letters with, of course, help of our personal staff. So that was the thing. So we took note of all these things. The judicial process was very, very sloppy. The judges the trial court should have gone into great details. They didn't examine any of the evidence. And as if the magistrate had made up his mind to convict Mr. Nagarwala 3 years of imprisonment. So Nagarwala kept asking for retrial or mistrial, and it was also a trial by media where we come in. So there was a lot of media was also writing a lot of things, and it better went to the High Court also. So had Mr. Nagarwala lived on, perhaps he would have been exonerated also.
I'll come to media. Actually, that is a big part of our conversation. But there was an interesting character who popped up during my reading is Janet Spear, his girlfriend, Agarwala's girlfriend, who was never, even the commission didn't even call her for.
She's an American.
Yeah, American. So I'd like you to.
So this was a very sketchy account is there. And Mr. Nagarwala was not married; he was a bachelor. And he had a girlfriend who was working in the. She was an American.
Yeah, American.
Yeah, and so she was working. She was working in Japan also, and she was supporting him. There was some bank transactions of $500. That time $500 was a big amount. All these things were there, but not much. Neither the police nor the Commission of Inquiry nor the other agencies which were there in the part of government, they did. So we don't even know that what happened. Mr. Nagarwala had earlier gone to Japan also. So this was again a challenge before us. We could have made a sort of a sleazy or some sort of romantic thing, taken some, what the film would have said, creative liberty, but we avoided doing it. But this is, we must admit, as the author I am saying, it is a grey area. Now, friends, this is a real challenge. If you are, so you can't conjecture, you can't make your imagination run for time and put two and two together. If two and two are not there, then again, the caution tells us it's not old school. It is the principle of, again, because then people would have believed as if she was a CIA conduit and she was the one who had framed him. Remember, there was also a background. I think she raised this question, but I didn't answer. See, Indira Gandhi was in 1960s. As you know, she became Prime Minister after Lal Bahadur Shastri's death, and she was actually facing a lot of internal challenges from the very big, the private enterprise, private corporates, and that led to her, to bank nationalization. Many of you would know what happened. In shortly, in briefly, I'll tell you that the 14 banks of India, Central Bank, Bank of Punjab, and some other, they had total wealth of, say 60-70% of banking wealth with them. And no private citizen, unless you were a state, in the sense a millionaire at that point of time, there was no way you could open a bank account. Even the lower middle class people had no bank account. Bank account, today it comes very naturally to us. And thanks to UPI and all, it's like become a necessity also. So Indira Gandhi did this bank nationalization. She also abolished privy purses when the India got independent. 564, those princely states were there. They were all given some kind of grant from 2 lakh rupees to something like 80,000 rupees. That was given to them. So Indira Gandhi abolished that. So there were a lot of anger against Indira Gandhi. And 71 war, that kind of position Indira Gandhi had taken was anti-America. So there was a, again, conjecture that the CIA would want to malign Indira Gandhi.
In fact, Indira Gandhi stood up against a US dominance in the economy, because US was our new UK.
Without Donald Trump, it was like Trump-like.
Yeah, exactly. So it was our new UK. So what happened during my own research, I found out that Ford Foundation was spending a lot of money in our projects. And Indira Gandhi said that, yes, you can give us money, but not ideas. Ideas will be ours. Yeah. So there's a lot of CIA and the thing happened at a time when Indira Gandhi was in a very slippery slope. That came out very well in the book. Let us go to I'm more interested in the media side because a lot of media students are there as well. So I actually wrote down that particular question. So as you say, there was a mishandle of the entire scandal. So did the newspapers contribute to conspiracy theories, or do they pursue the truth? What came out?
I think it's a very interesting question. I would some stage it's a very loaded question also. Many of you actually think that media is biased today. There is a lot of talk about goody media, pro-government media, anti-government media. I think this is a real challenge that has been before media at all time. So media is very, when we say, shoot the messenger, it's very easy to malign, the media and media players. At the same time, I will be very honest in front of a professor or teacher who produces a lot of journalists, that media does not have a gatekeeper. Unlike when you get into engineering, medical, defense forces, anything, you have to give some entrance examination. In Indian media scene and globally also, you don't need even a journalism school. You don't even have to go to Indian Institute of Mass Communication to get a degree. So anybody can become a media person. And friends, when media come from very diverse background, they have their own biases. Biases are also two kinds. There is one is a process of socialization that makes all of us biased. The kind of region we come from, the kind of religion we profess, the kind of value system we have, and there is a thing of that when we are driven by our own thought process. So when we are actually not unwitting bias, but we become actually biased towards a political party or individual. Now, in short, what I'm saying is that this was there very much in 1970-71 also. So there were people, institutions and individuals that were very pro-Congress or pro-Indira Gandhi, and there was elements and individuals who were anti-Congress. And so this is a real challenge for media. There is no thing called independent media in that sense. You can make an effort, but then, as I said, the process of socialization is this, that you can never be totally neutral. You can be objective, you try to be objective. So there is a lot of problems in media relating to objectivity and neutrality. So at that point of time, some newspapers who were very hostile to Indira Gandhi, people like Statesman and some other people, there was another thing called Motherland, they did a lot of sort of say charged up thing. And Mr. Kuldeep Kaiya, he was also a very front person was reporting about it. But somehow, I mean, we examined a lot of papers at that time, Hindustan Times, Times of India, the Hindu and other papers, they were not reporting. Now, not reporting is also quite, I would say, it's not casual, it is quite sinister. Why they were not reporting? So we also, actually I was tempted to have a chapter on the entire chapter on role of media. We thought we'll be looking at, criticizing our own fraternity. But I'm just saying, this is an admission. Why I'm putting it in the context? Because today also the similar allegations are there. So friends, in short, what happens that many times the media tends to align with one side or other. Because since I'm a student of mass communication myself, media is actually a very status quoist. It is not a change agent. It always favors the rich. It will favor globally level white. And it reflects somehow, whatever the stereotypes that exist in society. So therefore, what you see something wrong with media is a reflection of that.
You said one thing, I'm catching up because as a teacher of media and of course a practitioner, you said there were individuals who were anti-Congress or pro-Congress. But somehow my perception has been the individual changes according to the media ownership. What is your take on it?
Yes, I think that's very interesting thing. As I said, because at that time, again giving context, Indira Gandhi was seen as, sort of anti-rich. It was a political posture, I say that. But at the same, so many of the sage, people who were moneyed, they wanted to somehow take Indira Gandhi. And so this was also some of the papers that were part of, that kind of grouping, they were there. But ma'am, I would also be equally critical of those who didn't report.
Yes.
So, if the one section of, let's say, Indian Express and the Statesman and others who are very critical of Indira Gandhi and, accusing her of being, the person behind this Nagarwala scandal or the scam that shook the nation, and the other side was also should have reported. So, not reporting is also, you are giving some kind of unfair advantage to the accused. And actually, at that time, there was no TV, there was no radio. So the print journalism was the sole source of, and there was no, of course, social media, internet or anything. So that was the sole, source of information. So by not giving news, you are actually depriving people of, getting news. So all these challenges were there, and some of the challenges, friends, are there even today. I don't like to use this word, in fact, Northeast, because I think what is Northeast? It's like, you just can't say, the entire South, you can't say Madras, or you can't say that North India. So we have a lot of diversity, but in terms of coverage, we are also very lopsided. In the national news channels, a lot of events are from, the farther from Delhi, they are not reported. I don't know, yesterday, many of you may have seen or known, there was a municipal election in Mumbai. It's called BMC. All TV channels, I had also gone, I'm not saying that, but I was a commentator. But all TV channels were running, national prime time. What is so national about BMC? If tomorrow as well municipal elections are happening, would they do this? If it's happening in Chandigarh, they'll do it. If it's happening in Bhopal, they'll do it. So this is actually inherent, problem we have. Our media is very lopsided.
Yeah, so we are actually 10 minutes left. I have two questions basically. One, of course, you have come to Northeast. The topic you took yourself, I was very keen on it. I am a Northeastern. I grew up with this concept of being all the time either demeaned. I am demeaned because I don't look like a Northeastern. Okay? See, this is one thing I faced. Then my diction, because I don't have the Hindi diction, English. That is also not English. Then the way we had our own conflicts, all the time blame that we are all, we don't have democracy as an ideal. So, we are into insurgency and all those things without understanding why. And this state has the worst experience of being an Indian state, of being bombed by our own army. Right? And beyond that, every day, 1.5 years here, I had grown up in Assam, in Karbi Anglong, in Shillong. 1.5 years here, and I realized how disconnected, not only through media, through everything. Nobody understands. We are exoticized, like Mizoram is. It's a silent city, they don't harm. Fine, forget it. Don't exoticize us. Because I talked to my driver, he categorically said, ma'am, if I hung today, when I am going up, tomorrow when I am going down and I need that space, someone else will hung. So we are actually very tolerant towards each other. This exoticization and exploitation, this post, like now Patal, Family Man, everybody is coming to Nagaland.
Yeah.
Where do the media strike a balance here? As a person and with empathy that I have seen in you, I would like us to, how do we locate Mizoram, Northeast, all the 7-8 states into the Indian context? Just one few lines of encouragement for us.
I wish I could do my words of encouragement would make any qualitative difference. What you're saying, I'm in total agreement, and we also have a similar sense of helplessness. But friends, we must understand 2-3 things. First of all, the way we got our independence from the British Raj, and the kind of the formation, so to say, the union of or integration of Indian states happened. At that time, I am not criticizing the political class or the bureaucrats of that era, but there should have been some kind of work in progress. And this is not I would say applicable just to the northeast. Many regions of India, there is lot of, so to say, cultural, ethnic or economic, discrimination that has taken place. And what I feel very bad is that it is perpetuating. So when the first, reorganization of Indian States Commission happened by Justice Fazal Ali, they went around. Now, since then, there has been no, second reorganization of Indian states. I think that is a very, very legitimate demand, and there should be a scientific, a sort of exercise about entire India and create, newer states or states that are administratively better and where people find their legitimate political, social, economic aspirations. And this is something since I knew the people in the UPA, Dr. Manmohan Singh. Mr. Veerappa Moily, I remember he was a law minister and he was very keen to have a second reorganization of States Commission. And some of those characters are not there, but we are friends with it. Pranab Mukherjee, who was a very influential man, he was the finance minister of that government, he vetoed it because we met him. He told me, he said, Darjeeling, though we will not part away Darjeeling. We can't allow Gorkhaland going away from Bengal. So I am saying national leaders have a very parochial approach. When it comes to we say Pranab Mukherjee was in many ways was a great man, a great son of India, Bharat Ratna. I can go on praising. But many times, what we must understand, friends, whether it is Jawaharlal Nehru to Narendra Modi, 14 prime ministers, they all are human beings and they go by their whims and fancies. In democracy, unfortunately, we don't have much tool other than, the kind of advocacy or peaceful struggle and all kind of things are there. One more thing I'll just conclude because this is not a solution. We have a very corrupt political system and nobody is doing it. We are very honest prime ministers. Most prime ministers, I would say, since I've written about them, are personally very honest. But they have presided over a very corrupt system. We, in the Observer Research Foundation, we did a study for 2024 Lok Sabha elections, that how much money was spent. And we took several parameters in a very pragmatic way that, if I am asking for a ticket, then I need to bribe my own party, I need to get survey done. So we taken a lot of this thing. Friends, you will be surprised what kind of figure we arrived at. The election commission says that in 2024 Lok Sabha election, the total expenditure by political parties, etc. included was 5,700 some crores. According to our study, which was done with the Westminster University, the total expenses estimated to 1,32,000 crore rupees. I'll repeat, 1,32,000 crore rupees. Cost of one vote in Telangana, Tamil Nadu, and was about and Karnataka 7 to 8,000 rupees. Cost of one vote in Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, these are so to say poorer state, 3,500. The cost in your region was something like 4,000 rupees per vote. Now imagine if somebody is honest and somebody who has a very strong passion for a public life, wants to contest election, what would that person do? We know, again, I don't want to say Northeast, because we know, and this part of the world, many states have very, I would say, equal status, a positive ratio of on gender lines, and women have a very good, respectable place in society. But look at the representation of women in the entire Northeast. I think Nagaland, just this time, first time woman MLA was elected. I have written a book called it's called Missing from the House, Muslim Women in Lok Sabha. Out of that, since 51 elections, 51, 52 first election, till date there have been over 5,000 MPs, many of them, and this is directly Lok Sabha election. 690 women have been elected, which is very less. It should have been 2,000. But the number of women MPs is just 18. Sorry, Muslim women MPs have been 18, which is 0.6%. Population is 16%, if you take women, 8%. So, as I said, we have a very vibrant democracy. Sorry, I just...
No, I was thinking, you were talking about women, forget women, Muslim...
men also.
Present, just go to the Lok Sabha right now and we'll see what...
These are all challenges. Now, these are challenges that we can talk about, but these are challenges we cannot, solve them. And that is our limitation, and that's the limitation of media. We can highlight, we can do it through the research paper, through journal, through books, through talking like this and talking about it and build some kind of public opinion. But as I said, we have a very vibrant democracy, very participatory democracy, but we also have a very flawed democracy.
So, my final question before we open the floor, what next? What is your plan next?
Well, I think there are a lot of areas and avenues that need to be, brought out in public life. A lot is to be written because when I went to National Archives to look for this Nagarwala file, I was appalled, ma'am, that in Delhi, that National Archive, there were so many, hundreds of those commissions of inquiry reports were there. Shah Commission, this commission, that commission. There were so many riots have taken place in India. So government appointed very judicial commissions or other commissions, but those things are all gathering dust. We don't have a system of digitalizing them or bringing it to people. Or like in America and Britain, they have a thing of declassifying government documents. So we have a lot of control. The state actually controls over that. But I just conclude with this, that we must understand that it is the people, through the social contract theory, it's the people who form the state. The state doesn't form people. And this is something that needs to be understood. I see it increasingly, and I'm not saying political position, that increasingly state is becoming very, very dominant. The citizens who are the stakeholders, the state people have got together and said that, okay, the one person will be the class representative. The class representative should not say that, I'm what 10 people. So this is actually a problem with democracy. Whether it is what's happening in America today, or what's happening in parts of India, what's happening in a lot of democracies, that actually the social contract is being neglected. And the state thinks that we are most powerful, they can crush it, There is very little freedom of expression, freedom of liberty. All these things are there. And the problem with citizens is that citizens are not organized. And that's one of the challenges that society is facing. And I'm not talking about India, globally it is happening.
I think citizens are not organized because it's also a decoy of the state. Amelia, maybe we can have a long discussion on this topic one day.
Next time, yeah.
That's my big topic. So I'm tempted to take 1.5 hours of class immediately. So we'll wind up our discussion right now and open the floor to questions.
A pleasant evening with you, sir. Sir, I would like to know your opinion on this Amelia Lalremruati fund distribution. Because, take an example, there are different constituencies and the amount of development they need is different. So, if this equal distribution of fund, do you find this fair enough? Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's a very good question, and coming from a student of economics, I think it's actually there is a lot of misunderstanding is there about the role of elected representatives. The role of elected representative is to make laws. This constituency development is one important aspect, but this is not a sole job of elected representatives. Somehow in our democracy, as we have moved, we have actually forgot, because I have seen once I went to there was a Prime Minister VP Singh, Vishwanath Pratap Singh. I went to his constituency Fatehpur, and it was so backward. I could not even get a hotel to stay. There no place to. And even if you go to Jawaharlal Nehru's constituency, Phulpur, which is near Allahabad, you will see that that's not developed, so to say. The way later on Amethi got developed, or the way Ahmedabad or Gandhinagar would develop, or Varanasi. So the earlier the politicians would not think of they would think of a nation, they would think of a state, they would think of a district, they would not think of my area, my constituency, my people, my caste, my fellow travelers. This is a later on. So we were more progressive till 1960s and 70s. By the time 1980s, 90s came, we became more narrow. And therefore, to answer your question, this MP LAD scheme or the MLA scheme was started with a good meaning, but it is grossly being misused, not only in terms of corruption, but in terms of very lopsided, because the fund is limited. So what the MLA tries to do is to go to a to area or particular thing about that. See, there should be again a public pressure. That you have to do this, you have to do this. But unfortunately, we don't have that kind of citizenry where we don't have a right to recall, like in some of the other countries have. So therefore, MLA and lot of MLAs don't get re-elected. I think national average about 40% of MLAs don't get re-elected, and this is a reflection of what they do. And
do or don't.
They don't get re-elected. This is a very poor reflection, and the bureaucracy is very, very dominant. So somewhere, I mean, if you go very deep in it, you will see that the MLAs are also helpless. So unless you become a minister, or unless you are an IAS, so it's the minister plus IAS that comes up as chief minister. So there are a lot of tyrannies there.
Jawaharlal Nehru, before independence, he said that I'm going to dismantle the civil services because there is nothing civil about this, and there is no services. And he also continued.
Yeah.
And you should go to you have it, I am sure, this one, that academy.
Yeah, Masuri.
Lalduhthlana
Yeah.
Ralte. So there, actually they are taught, the bureaucrats are taught how they should use their support staff to clean their shoes, because that is how you distance yourself from the people, and whatever it is, they rule. They know that trick. If they, again, bureaucrat just in front of me, scared of me. If they want, they can twist it. And because they are inside a system, not a single politician has a courage to. And yesterday it was a very, just for, again, there was this MP LAD fund you discussed, right? So there is one MP who was asked I think in UP, that where are you spending? The opposition asked. And she said, where I spend, this is my job. Sorry, no.
Sir, I'm not Chinese. I'm Indian. I think I've heard these words from a student from Tripura who was studying in Dehradun before he was killed by a mob. And since you have delved into the topic of alienation of culture, do you think that it is possible of erasure or removal of this discrimination? And is it worth fighting for?
I think what you have raised is a very sort of sad and very telling commentary, and we should not look for many of this thing that what will happen. We are a constitutional democracy. There is a rule of law, and rule of law needs to be enforced. Again, I was just before coming, I was just looking at one report. It was about that the hate crimes and the hate speech. Now, the hate speech is most prevalent in Uttarakhand, particularly, okay, where there are a lot of people have an ability to get away. So, hate speech is much less in states where there is a sort of say less. I won't say zero tolerance. Ideally, there should be zero tolerance, but with a less tolerance towards this. When there is and we have seen in a very this thing what happened in 1984 riots in Delhi, what happened in Gujarat in 2002. Whenever the mob thinks that they can get away with it, with a crime, so you will see a greater this thing. And particularly Uttarakhand is because it's a very developed state, educated state, well off. Still, there are a lot of wrong things are happening in that part of the country. So therefore, I think one of the very important manifestation is that the people, the mob, antisocial element, there is a beast in a lot of people, but they think that they can get away with it, and there is some kind of unwritten, unspoken, political legitimacy. So if we enforce rule of law, and that is where the bureaucracy and everyone comes in, the judiciary, that you will see less and less, and in fact, a kind of zero tolerance towards it, because the framers of Indian Constitution had never thought that as you know the principle, the framers of Constitution had thought of this thing that there will be three separate this thing of coming together of judiciary, executive, and legislature. So the politicians and civil servants have become very close, and sometimes even their view, their line of thinking is reflected in the judiciary. So this is something which is a very new thing and a very difficult thing, because the American Supreme Court is very powerful. It has a power and the ability to restrict Mr. Donald Trump or the President of the United States. In our country, we don't have that kind of system. But this is to answer your question, this is very unfortunate. Only rule of law and zero tolerance can save situation.
Hello, yes, sir. I'm Casey Lalremruati from the Literature Club of Pasong University College. I was listening, and what broke my ears was your criticism of the flawed democracy, right? And you said that the state has, in a sense, not respected the social contract with the people. And my question is, then you, in a sense, are also critiquing the state, right? Yes. So my question is, do you think the state is still necessary then, in that sense?
See, I think that's a very good question. I think the state was created for a legitimate reason, and the legitimacy has not outlived the concept of social contract, because the people were very, at that point of time when there was no social contract, the life was very, as Rousseau had said, very short, brutish, nasty, all those things. But there is also a sense of proportion, that when we put laws in place, the laws must have a process of natural justice. So the rights of an individual or a citizen is very important. It is not a thing that rice is better than wheat. It's not. So it needs to have a sense of balance. What I'm saying that in many democracies, what we are seeing is state is becoming very dominant, and there are laws that are very draconian, so to say, and as a result, like we keep seeing in that bail applications, etc. The court says that the bail is actually a right, in practice something happens. So the application of law is becoming challenging. And what is the protection? The protection is taken is about that the state is being compromised. You look at sedition law. The sedition is a very serious crime, but you cannot sort of slap sedition on a Facebook post or a criticism of an individual. We need, that is what I'm saying. So state needs to be very large-hearted. In democracy, those who vote, they are very welcoming. Those who don't, you cannot say that no, those who don't vote cannot, just go out. The entire, because I am a political correspondent, so I hear a lot of discourse. Say, like I heard in UP, so I'm just narrating. They say, oh, we are giving them ration and they are not voting for us. No, this is not a thing. If you are giving ration, this is a state's responsibility, and there is no either morally, politically, ethically, anywhere there is a thing that you need to vote for a particular person whose government is providing you free ration. First of all, in free ration also one can question that a country that has developed so well, how are that we are giving free ration to 80 crore people? Because we should have, in 70 years, there should have been no concept of free ration. That's again the entire question of free bees. You look at the moral code of conduct, you look at how elections are conducted, all those Ladri Bahina Yojana and those, the women's entry, this thing, money. So these are all questions that need to be asked. You don't become less of a citizen by raising these issues. State is a very big umbrella, so state needs to be a lot more. The state cannot be very, touch me not, and just the people are put in jail. Actually, even the concept of jail is also become outdated. There should be open jails and there should be a lot of jail reform. Anyway, that's our subject matter for another day.
Any more questions?
No, sir. I wrote out some important questions that I will read out. And you have important contributions about Indian democracies and political history, and also we heard now Congress dominance, history and national emergency also. So now I would like to ask two questions from a social justice perspective. And if political democracy exists to elections and constitutional rights, but economic power remain concentrated among a small elite, can this be called democracy? That is one question, and the other is, do social welfare policy, some the central government and state government also make a scheme for the poor. So do welfare policies change structural inequality, or do they only manage poverty without changing the system?
First, I must compliment you. You have raised very pertinent issues and points. If my young friend, if I go on responding, I think probably it will take a lot of time. But in a nutshell, I understand. See, I must tell you something which is very important to broadly understand what you're saying. See, the Indian democracy, the kind of political system we adopted, is from Westminster model of parliamentary democracy, the British system. In British system, they don't have a written constitution. We have a written constitution, they don't have a written constitution. The entire political system is based on propriety. Issues of morality, ethics, all that. In India, as we see, as a practicing journalist I say, we see there is a lack of propriety. Once Lalu Yadav had very famously said when he was asked to resign on some issue on moral ground, I think Mr. Gujarat government was there, I think Gujarat government. Lalu ji said, I have seen football ground, I have seen polo ground, I have seen hockey ground. What is moral ground? So that was a level of, so to say, carelessness or indifference we have. So all the social welfare schemes or social justice, it has to have a sense of proportion. It was required. When you look at the reservation policy in India. Again, a controversial subject, but we must understand what it is. So reservations were started for 10-year period. The framers of constitution said that it's a temporary nature. We will achieve some kind of social justice. 10 years it will, 10 year. Now, if somebody says in a public forum or in parliament or in court of law that the reservation was just for a temporary nature and for 10 years it should be done away, that person would be politically beaten up or lynched or attacked. Because we have made, and there is no basis, what we talk about the backward class commission and other commission. If you see that kind of scientific and that empirical research is not there. What is the basis of Mandal Commission? It was appointed by again Morarji Desai government, and actually yesterday I wrote a story about it that actually Indira Gandhi wanted to implement, but again P.V. Narasimha Rao and who were his senior ministers R. Venkatraman and Pranab Mukherjee, they told Indira Gandhi that no, don't implement this Mandal Commission. This I have talked about 81, 82. As we know, Mandal Commission was implemented much later by VP Singh government and other governments. Point I'm saying is that social justice is very much required and needed. The some kind of economic support to the poor is very much required. But friends, what if it is used just on the eve of election? When people, women voters get 5,000 rupees in their accounts, then this is actually a mockery of democratic process. And this is not started by Mr. Narendra Modi or the BJP today. This started way back in 1980s when N.T. Ramarao was chief minister. He actually started this culture of freebies. Then Jayalalitha did it, and the Congress governments also did it. So, and you look at today, the Congress has this kind of, those guarantee schemes in Karnataka, they won, and Telangana, they won on the basis of guarantee schemes. But when it came to Madhya Pradesh and other states, they are, or in Maharashtra, they are criticizing, they are thinking that is, the freebies is giving undue advantage. So, actually, nothing is simple in India. It's a very complex political system. I can go on praising entire evening how the Indian political system is working, and we can also spend an hour spending about talking about the weaknesses or the kind of contradictions that are there in a political system. And this is also a beauty of our democratic system. But bottom line is that we lack a sense of propriety. We decide everything by court of law. Court of law is also very important. But friends, in a democracy, in a political system, we adopted Westminster model parliamentary democracy. Ethics, morality, propriety, they are very much important, and we lack that. We must admit it, that there should be no shame in it that we have this as a weakness.
We wind up for today, and I really need to talk to both of you.
You are good students. Yeah.
All right, I just want to say thank you to our author and our conversationalist, and I would also, on a personal note, want to extend an invitation for you to please visit again so we can have a full day of discussion because I think the session could go on for much longer if we had the time. All right, so on behalf of the foundation, hello again. My name is Ashley Lalremruati. I am the other Ehsaas Woman of Aizawl, and I would like to express my sincerest gratitude again to our author and conversationalist of the evening. Thank you both for sharing your profound thoughts with us, and we're truly grateful for such an enriching session. A sincere thank you to Oil India Ltd, whose support makes events like this possible and also helps us to continue to celebrate literature and artistic culture in the Northeast. We are grateful to be in association with hospitality and venue partner Folkland. I hope you all enjoyed the food. Again, like always, our theme is miso, food with a little bit of a modern twist. I hope our guests had it as well.
Excellent, yeah.
Okay. Prabhakaitan Foundation aims to foster unity and appreciation of the rich cultural heritage across India's states. Today, we are pleased to felicitate the author and our conversationalist with Jaipur puppets. Jaipur puppets, also known as Kathputlis, are traditional Rajasthani string marionettes dressed in flowing skirts and used for performances that depict folklore, legends, and historical tales of bravery and chivalry. So this craft is native to Rajasthan and it is created by master artisans. I would like to call upon Mr. Lalduhthlana, retired IFS officer, to felicitate the author and our conversationalist.
Ladies
First,
first.
first,
Yeah,
no,
ladies
no.
first.
You were the-
No. Yes, come on.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vikram. Again, I would like to say thank you to our audience this evening with excellent questions. And I'm sure that you have a lot more. You feel free to ask him. And as always, again, we have copies of the book. Please get a free copy signed by the author himself. Thank you all for coming and making the evening. And again, I would like to extend an invitation to next month's session. So if anyone here is not in the WhatsApp group, please feel free to contact me for details of the next session. Thank you to everyone here tonight. I hope you had a great time, and please take a copy of the book. Thank you.
Re sa ma re ma da ma da ni